Good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode. Oh, this is the wrong angle, and the kids mess with my camera. Let me get this fixed. Boom and boom, perfect. I think that's about right ish. There we go. Yeah. How y'all doing? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT Before You Take the Trade. And this is the Trading Floor edition. Let me go ahead and get this crank because I am late. So let's go ahead and go straight to the chart. So NQ, let's come up to the daily. NQ have been having a little bit of trouble, right? I had a feeling that this was going to be a tough area. You can kind of see here. I think the last time when we drew out our areas, let me pull this up a little bit. This area right here was going to be a very tough area, right? You had a nice little order block that was created here. They had a tough time getting up to this level, and then they had a tough time trying to really break down until they actually did a nice explosion, and that's what kind of created that low into that August 5th, right? So I did have a little bit of an inclination that when we get close to this level, if we don't just run right through it, there's a possibility we're going to get a little tough time here. So we got ourselves a little bit of a downtrend. That's a micro downtrend. If we do a major uptrend, let me use my ray for this. So we got your major uptrend here, bang, and then you have your deviation of that major uptrend roughly about here. So now that this kind of made a higher high right here on this wick, it does bring me to look at this area here as possibly an area that they're looking for accumulation for a breakout to any direction. Doesn't mean really to the upside or the downside, but this wick right here, they violated this extension that happened here that brought us down to this level here. So with that said, there is a strong possibility is this accumulating to do something major. All right, let's go ahead and speed right through this. We got ourselves oil. Oil looks like this. I almost want to reset all my lines because it did gap down again. Actually, that's what we're going to do. Let's reset these lines. Go ahead and start all the way over. I do not need my messages. So we got this space here. That was in a contract expiration, and this space here, that was in a contract expiration. And when we had the contract expiration, we did gap down and filled. So this is very interesting on what's going on with oil. Supposedly there's some news on oil. I gotta go do some digging on that because I saw something pop up, but I like to double check my work before I say anything when it comes down to news stuff. You already know when it's all said and done, there's a lot of this whole fake news thing. But anyways, we'll go ahead and stick with the chart. Got a nice little extension. They tried to get it back up into this level. They could not. And now it's getting this little rejection. Now, if y'all remember how we kind of charted this out, coming from the higher time frame, this was our pandemic low, this was our recovery high, and we have been on this proverbial downtrend that just been a long time of consolidation, right? And so all we did is just slowly broke through using consolidation. We haven't made no major ups or major downs. Yes, if you come down to a daily, there is some opportunities to make it. So, but if we're really looking at this, we're kind of inside of a box that looks something like this, and we've been actually a little bit higher. We've been playing inside of this box for about, wow, it's 2 years. It's just over 2 years. 2 years of this consolidation. Does this mean we're going to fill some of these imbalances down here? Don't know, but we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and go to gold. So here's gold. Get rid of all the lines. Gold is on a I can't stop, I won't stop, and I want to continue to make these highs. I think they're aiming for 2,800 since we're so close to it. So I'm going to just put a level right here at 2,800. But again, I won't say that this is an unhealthy uptrend because there are some pullbacks, but it is not a very balanced one, I guess that's the word I'm going to go with. So we got a nice little major uptrend here, and then you got your deviation of that uptrend, which was about right here. This is when we had that major recovery and everybody kind of ran to gold when it was all said and done. Actually, it's really here. But after that, we made this higher high when we broke this resistance over here, and that is our support that we've been on roughly here. And you can kind of see it's steady, it's gradually growing, kind of have a nice little deviation of this angle right here. But I do think that there's going to be some type of retest up into this trend line, and we haven't touched this trend line since roughly July 24th. So there's got to be some type of test. So depending on how these buyers here are holding, we will see what happens there. And then silver, you can see this is why gold is ripping, right? Silver is breaking out, and all they do when silver takes off, the metals all go together, right? So this was a nice little move, nice bull flag breakout type of action in some areas. This was a bump and run that I plotted out before, and if you did play gold based on these parameters, you probably did a really, really, really good thing. All right, let's get over to the British pound. British pound, I was looking for that inverse head and shoulder. They said no. We did come down for this fair value gap. We kind of hit the brakes. I do think this is just a little bit of reprieve so that way they could go ahead and get the rest of the fair value gap. But because they didn't do anything real major with that pullback and then drop, I do think that this is going to probably try to test this fair value gap in area here. Just depends. Maybe that's going to be the part of our Santa rally. We'll see. All right, and then we got ES. I'm going to get rid of all the lines again. ES, we went ahead and got into the 5924. Could this be a pullback so that way we could get to that 6,000 level that all the pundits, all the news articles, all the people are trying to tell us? Maybe, but just be smart about it because I don't trust it. Oh, you know what? I have not gone back into natural gas, which is what I replaced ES for. And this is what I saw. This was our H pattern. I was looking for an extension to go fill this imbalance. We are into that season when things are starting to recover and people are investing into natural gas. So I do think this little area, when we did not fill this area, this was your entry to that upside. I don't know if y'all played natural gas, but if you do, this little spot right here was that pivotal point. And now they're starting to take some of their profits. As we get deeper into the winter season, I think it's going to go up some more, so just keep an eye on that. Maybe they come back for this imbalance that happened over here. Probably up into that 3.33. All right, so that's that one. Let's go to Russell. I was looking for the Russell to bounce off of here. It did not. I'm looking for it to bounce over here, and now it kind of is not. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get rid of this arrow. I do think they're going to use this order block as an area so that we can go ahead and load up a little bit more. Maybe they could go ahead and fill this fair value gap and continue to this upside, but we'll see what the Russell does as we start to get out of the majors, your NQs, your ES. Let me put ES back over here. Your ES, the Russell should be pushing up, so I kind of like where it is right now. So I think small caps are still the place to kind of be, but we'll see what happens with this earnings cycle. All right, and here is the infamous, none other, the dollar. Right, so we can see that the dollar is starting to break out of that order block. I want to see what it does with this level over at 104.804. If it gets through that with some strength, I think the market is going to make a nice little push to the downside. But we'll see. We got jobs reports and everything. Oh, there goes our bell, letting us know that the market is open. But yeah, I would say we'll start to get rid of a lot of these imbalances and maybe even test these angles on my previous bumper runs from here, here, and here. But we'll see. We will see. All right. So if this is the first time that you've been on one of my, the way I do things, I'm very simple. I don't make things complicated. All we're doing is open range breakouts, and we're looking for, in this case, a breakout with the 5 minutes. So if you are kind of new, this should be very simple for you to follow and imitate along the way. Very, very popular amongst traders, and it probably going to make you a little bit more profitable if you are struggling. Also, I have my key indicator, which is my market dominance, which is based on the 45-minute chart that I use a lot. And based on those parameters, we look for reversals based on that. So you might hear a couple things like, hey, the 45 minutes ready. We're probably going to play in on that side too. So that said, let's go ahead and look at the first 60 seconds of how the market kind of opens. So we're going to go to the 15-minute. Come over to our chart. Check it out, check it out, check it out. All right, so what this is basically telling me, we are going to be bullish if this thing breaks above this area here, and we will be bearish at the lower register of this 15-minute candle. Of course, we gotta wait 15 minutes for this candle to solidify and be official and confirmed. And when we get that, that is when we will see what the 5-minute does. All right, so that said, let's go ahead and look at my red list. Let's see. Ooh, the red list is actually all red. Look at that. Ooh, everybody's getting beat up. Let's see what happens there. Oh, actually, let me go check on my Thinkorswim real quick, because I did take overnight puts and see if it recovered. I should have added more, but I was like, it was a few dollars. Let me see what happens. And yeah, it didn't recover much. Eh. We'll see. If this thing boils down, I have some QQQ, and I'll go through some levels in a little bit. I have overnight QQQ puts, 486, and we'll probably go into that. But yeah, let's go ahead and go through the red list. So pizza's on a whole nother annoyance. I don't like what they're doing. It is what it is at this point. But you could kind of see we had this nice little gap down that I was looking for them to go back and refill over there. So we kind of showed some support that was happening here. I kind of looked at my angles and was like, oh, you know what? Maybe they just came down here for a little vacation and visit, and then maybe I'll start to go ahead and push up to that upside. But you could kind of see they are doing a little bit of an inside bar here, and we did not fill this area. This 200 level is going to be tough, so I wonder, where are my supporters? Where are my bulls? And I think they're probably somewhere around here, but that's just speculation, so we're going to hold that trend line exactly where it is. CCJ, I did bring this up a while back when we kind of did this bull flag breakout. Nice little move, came out from $50 up to $58. I do think that CCJ does have another leg in it, but we'll see what happens. If we look over here on the weekly, you can kind of see it's like the party kind of started with the weekly, so we'll see what happens there. Another one is Starbucks. I remember Starbucks, but we kind of talked about this one, the earnings. Then it was like, hey, guess what, we changed our CEO. All right, so now they went in and exploded up to the upside. We never filled that gap, so they're giving a lot of credence to that CEO. They're not going to let this drop below this 90 level. That's what it looks like. But I'm going to see what happens with this next recent test and see if they go ahead and kind of do this trend line here. This is what I've been keeping a little bit of an eye on, is every time it does these type of actions in itself. And then you got this one here, kind of like this one right here. And then you got, well, this one didn't really do it. It basically kind of tweezed the top this one and went down to this downside, and then they recovered it roughly around here, kind of like that. So that's probably why we're getting it. Oh, actually, yeah, we kind of got this rejection here. So maybe they couldn't get up here, and this is the kiss of death, and we just go ahead and go down. Maybe start to take a test down to this 90 level. Maybe. We'll see. And then we got ourselves Pan W. I like everything that's going on with all of them. You got your Pan W, you got your D-Dog. All right, you got your Crowd, which is the one that caused all of our problems in itself because they couldn't handle their Microsoft situation and shut down the airports. So, you know, we can never forget. Can forgive, but we can't forget. But you can kind of see the market was trying to get inside of the gap that created from that debacle that they went through and all the lawsuits that they got to deal with. So maybe they've staved the tide a little bit, and maybe they're holding them back. But if this does not get into this gap, I am very, very fearful that this thing will not hold the 300 level. And if it doesn't hold the 300 level, then we probably going to go ahead and restart this whole entire drop. It isn't a bearish state down here, but this accumulation could be a nice little cleanup. Maybe get back to 371 if it holds, but we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and get back over to NQ. Let's see what NQ has for us on the 15-minute. All right, so we made a little bit lower. Let's go ahead and fix our lines a little bit. So our high of this candle is 25 to 650. Boom. And then our low for the time being is 24.32.25. So that's what we're working with here. Let me go set up my other chart so that way I can be ready to take a trade. Let's see, I already got that set up. Actually, let me see something. Come back to the 15. And then we'll probably do some QQQ levels after that. Yeah, so there's a key level that I was noticing. It was like the 500 level was having a hard time. Roughly around 8 o'clock, we rejected that that 500 level. Here's our 500 level, roughly about right here. So I think this is a very key area of interest for the market as they try to figure out what they want to do with it. We broke below, bent, bought the dip, broke below, then bought the dip, bought the dip, bought the dip, market open, broke below again. So I think they're taking as much shots at destroying this level at the 500 level. So we'll see what happens with that. That said, let's go ahead and check out QQQ. So if you know, I do trade QQQ as well. And I like to, actually, what did I draw here? Let's see, what did I do there? I was looking for a rejection here, but they kind of wicked it through. This could be manipulation, just so they can liquidate as much bears and use the momentum of that liquidation to take it all the way down. So I might be right on this thesis, but we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and look at this from the 2 hour. Let's do 2 hour this time. So 500 level for the bullish side. It can get retested here. It really can. But we do have a little bit of an order block over here. So 492 would be the choice level to the downside. But if this thing gets to 485, that would be a whole lot of fun, and it should stay in line with a little bit of a variance here of my thesis of coming back and testing and breaking down at this level. If we go over to the daily, you can kind of see we've been in this bullish state, but no real control for the most part. And then if we go over to the weekly, you got yourself a nice little move to the upside, but then the price action is not following suit to this. You got lower histogram, lower histogram, lower histogram, lower-ish histogram, and this thing probably going to start struggling when it's all set up. But again, we take the chart that's presented in front of us, so I do think that what I said, go back to the 2 hours, 485 if you want to be very ballsy and do something a little bit of nutty play. But I would say 500 is a sound one for those that's being bullish. And if you're going to be bearish, maybe 489, 490. The low 200 EMA on the 2 hour sits at 489. So 491s would be safe. 489, 88 would be a little bit riskier. And then you got, straight insanity at 486. All right, so that's that. Let's go back over to NQ. Let's see what they're doing with our 15-minute. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a bounce. Looks like it's trying to make a push here. Let me go ahead and check out some other stuff on my list. Let's see. This was, I gotta finish this video. I really gotta finish this. This is a couple things I gotta work on. Let's go with bulls. Let's see what I had as being bull. Oh yeah, Tesla. Let's talk about Tesla. Tesla has been on a tear after earnings, and it has been liquidating anyone that ever thought about shorting Tesla. But you got yourself a nice low rejection of this area. This is 273, so I think it really was aiming for 275, and then they rejected it a little bit early. Got a nice little gap here that they probably are going to try to attempt to test inside of this imbalance. So we're talking about maybe here. So I would say Tesla to 250 if this thing really breaks down. And that'll be your bounce area. And then at that 250, we'll probably recover, go back to that 275 again. Let's go over this list. Adobe. Let's talk about Adobe. Adobe is one of those tickers. Excuse me. Give me 1 second. Let me get some water. All right, all right. I just needed a little bit of water. But yeah, Adobe, where it is right now, you can kind of see they're coming for this weekly fair value gap. I would not be surprised. Probably around earnings, or maybe a little before earnings, because their earnings is on December 11th, right? I would not be surprised with Adobe flatlining the stochastic on the weekly like this. We got an M pattern that's right here. Let's go ahead and really give y'all some signs to this. This is our lower side of the M. This is our breakout of the M. And if we throw some fibs on this, I'm going to go ahead and put a fib right here. Boom. So I would not be surprised Adobe starts to range between here and here. So let's go ahead and call this between 460 and 468 is a good buying opportunity for all these shorts to go ahead and be like, all right, I'm done. We did enough. Now, if it does play the rest of the M pattern, you're talking about really breaking down and probably taking out a lot of this action, probably come down to like 411. That'll be probably the worst case. Hey, what's going on? Thanks, Neil. Welcome to the party. But I could see Adobe. You could see these candles are getting smaller. They're starting to build supports. They're really going to start chopping up the bears if they even think about it. So a nice little area, the 200 here, will be a good buying opportunity for my, you know, immaculate folks out there that likes to, you know, swing a trade or two, you know. So that so that should bring us up to about maybe like 500. If it gets real ballsy, it probably break through the 50 EMA and get into that 560 level again, and that could be the cool down that it needed because Adobe is one of those companies, they just acquire a lot of things and they really just got to put it all together. And they acquired Avid, which is the company that made Pro Tools a few years back, and that's probably why, you know, trying to balance all of that, CEOs get the revenues right and all that good stuff. Yeah, $4 a share EPS with a 5 billion revenue stream. Yeah, I don't think this flat line is going to stay flat line the whole entire time. So just keep that in mind. Let's see how much time we have. Oh, actually, we got less than a minute. Let's get back to NQ. Here is NQ. Oh, look at that bounce. They are not going to let this dog die. Depending on how it finishes this 15-minute candle, I'm going to put a box around the wick of the candle, just out of curiosity, and see what is it that they want. All right, we got less than 90 seconds until this candle closes. Am I logged in and everything? Ooh, no, I am not logged into this one. Let me go log in real quick. Give me 1 second. As bear trap bull trap sentiment. It really does feel like it. Like, hey, guess what, guys? Come on, be bullish. Let's go. Let's rally up. Let's get back to 500. That's what it looks like to me. And it looks like they're not going to have enough steam to get above that 500 level. We are on the bearish side here. Bearish. Bearish. Maybe 4 hour? Is the 4 hour bullish? 4 hours bullish. Could be like a nice little retracement, and then we do something along the lines of this. But that's going to take a lot of work. It takes a lot of price action and volume and movement to get to that type of move. But we'll see. All right. We've now established, there we go, they're trying to get to that 500 level now. We have now established our high and low, the 15-minute range. All right. Looks like 432 is where are the buyers. They're sitting there having a nice little conversation. Probably enjoying a nice latte, waiting for them to come back down. I'm trying to find. Yeah, let me go to my FX books. Let me see what they're thinking over there. See if we have any news that's going to go ahead and change this up a little bit. Oh, that could be a problem. So we got consumer confidence, job openings, and job quits. That's going to be coming on 13 minutes. So that could really tell a lot. That said, let's go check out oil. See what's going on over there on that side of town. Still got the gap. Didn't fill the gap. Probably finish with an inside bar if it stays like this. The 1 hour looks like it got more downside than it wants to flirt with. So this level here at $67 is probably going to be very pivotal on what it will be doing. Let's keep this going. Let's go with gold. Gold is still trucking. Get into that. Oh, you're supposed to be 2,800. Come on, don't short you. Not 28,000, 2,800. All right, boom. So 2,800. Probably looking for that level. And we're getting ourselves a little bit of steam here, and then the silver is looking like it could continue on that upside. Little weakness there. See the 4 hour. Yeah, take out this wick, which they hold on, did they? Yeah, they took out the wick. Maybe a nice little pullback. Don't break below support. Yeah, and probably come back for that 35, and that should drag gold up. British pound consolidating. ES having a conversation. Russell, Russell's still coming down. I thought I was gonna actually hold that. That's gonna be interesting. And then the US dollar is breaking out again. Come to the 15-minute. Got a nice little pullback, and they're using the area as support right now. We'll see. All right, let's go back over to NQ. So we need a 5-minute candle to close either above, which is going to be tough because this 500 levels has been a very sell-off area, above 526.50. Also, we need to have, or either or, right? Or we have it breaking down under 432, which there was a lot of bulls there anyways, and they made a nice little bounce. We'll see. We'll see. Let me go over to my green list. What's going on with my green list? Meta's a jerk. I won't call Meta a jerk because I was actually trying to play this on the breakdown, and they had a nice little hold up here. I think it was like 590. It kept on playing. Actually, I think it was back here. I kept on push it up, and then I was like, you know what? Let me get rid of it. And then after I got rid of it, it got into like 565 and stuff. I'm like, you bums. But yeah, nice little pullback here. Could use this area as support, but I know there's a lot of selling pressure that's happening here. So let's go ahead and mark these off as this is the angle. So maybe get a nice little wedging type of action from here to here and then here to here. That would be very interesting, and we'll see what happens with Meta. Dell has a tendency in which the tendency is starting to act a little funky. Running down. This was a running up, and this was a running up, and this was a running up. So has a tendency of running up on after dividends, and we're at that base, and I think it's going to look for a reversal somewhere around here. So actually, let me move this over to my red list now, because I think we'll probably look for something there. So nice little run up to dividends. Maybe it holds this as support. Maybe even use this whole entire area here as a bit of an order block. Maybe if I can find a nice little trending action that happens on some of the lower time frames from the daily, I'll probably find a spot there. All right, let's get back over to NQ. We got the first 5 minutes after our establishment done, and what did it do? Nothing. We're still playing inside of the range. If you haven't been on the floor before, I usually try to end this by 10:15. That way I give you enough time so that way you could go ahead and take care of family stuff and all that good stuff. And I gotta take care of family stuff myself, right? And try not to be so stuck in front of a screen the whole entire day. So that said, 10:15. If we're making money, I might push it over to that 10:25 or so. It just depends on how the price action is moving. But in this case, if we stay inside of the range, I'll probably shut it down a little early. But just mark off these levels, because the moment that it breaks out of either one of the sides, it's probably going to give you a nice healthy profit in that direction. So that said, let's go ahead and get back to it. Yeah. When it gets into these ranges like this, it's like you want to try to avoid it because that thing could chop you up. Let's see which time frame looks a little less choppy. Looks like the 1 hour, 45 minute, 15 minute looks very crazy because of this price action here. So yeah, maybe the 1 hour. In a minute, we're about to establish the 1 hour. You got 8 minutes and 22 seconds. If you're not in profit right now, I do suggest you sit back. You're not in a position. There's nothing to really fight or whatever the case may be. Sit back, relax, kick your feet up. We got news that's going to be popping up in 8 minutes, and that could be a catalyst to lead you to some profits. Um, if you are in a position and you got some very very healthy profits that you can, maybe you was playing it to the downside, and you got it locked in at structure somewhere around here, that's still a good idea because you were in as deep as here and you got yourself a good chunk of profits, like 400 ticks or so, right? Something like that. That's a good idea, no matter what you have here, because none of this here is holding, right? There's no real establishment. You had an extra 370 or 436 to maybe here to here, like it just kept on dancing. Um, just lock in something, and if you are in a position and you're red, uh, cut your losses because you don't have no cushions that can weather whatever the volatility that might kick in from the news. But I digress. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a fiduciary. I am nobody but a guy that loves looking at tickers and sharing this insight here with y'all. All right, we got ourselves another minute or so until this 5 minutes close. And it looks like they're trying to keep this bad boy bullish, keeping it above that 500 level. But you can kind of see, like, this is hard to read. Look at my stochastic. Look at my MACD. It's just so erratic. You gotta stay smooth. All right, we'll wait 60 seconds before I go to one of my other lists, because I do have my screener running on the other screen, and we'll probably run through some things that's on that side. All right, 38 seconds. Consensus believes that job openings are going to be lower. And so, very interesting dynamic. Come on, baby. Pick a side. That way we can take a trade. I thought this next 5 minute would have just did a bigger explosion to the upside. Since this can kind of engulf the body. All right, let me just go ahead and go to some of my lists. Let's see where I put my screener. I put it right there. All right. Let's see. We have Danaher. Their options kind of suck. Union Pacific, Honeywell, Proligious, Regeneron. Never heard that since the pandemic. KLA, Signa Group. Signa Group. That sounds familiar. I think I know their logo. CSX, Coinbase. Actually, that might be the one we go with. Norfolk Southern, Kimberly Clark. We don't have no pandemic, so nobody's running after paper and all that stuff. Keurig Dr. Pepper. I don't know how their options are. And they got a lot of volume that came in today. Yeah, a lot of Coinbase, Keurig, Dr. Pepper, and huh, I think that's about it. All right, let's go with those two. Let's go with Keurig, Dr. Pepper, KDP. We'll check out their options chain in a little bit, but they got a lot of volume that came in. Coming off of earnings, they missed on here, but the EPS was solid. Maybe a little bit of profit taking because this thing kind of stair stepped its way since July 2024. Let's come up to the weekly. Oh, two massive candles. It's hitting the brakes because it looks like this area right here is an area of interest. But generally speaking, the trend is broken. They may test back to here. So you're talking about Keurig, Dr. Pepper down to like 30 bucks if this momentum continues. Because whatever trend that they created over here in March of 2024, that party is over. Yeah, that was the dance. And then this hammer is the one that set it all off. Boosty candle. Anyways, moving on. I do think that this thing could hold this level. We got 3 days because the momentum is it's just stacked against it. I think the true trend is this, and that's probably why you're getting all this volume as people are panicking and getting out of it because they thought that this was going to be a bounce area between the 50 and the 200 on the weekly. That's not the case. So now they're probably getting out as soon as they can, allow themselves to sit on the sidelines because it's still in the bullish state. There's your bearish histogram divergence that played this whole entire thing off right there. That was the tea leaves that was letting you know we had a nice little momentum, but the momentum is not matching here. So yeah, I would say maybe that's what they're doing. They're getting out of this position, knowing that they're going to repurchase this position because they do give dividends. 23 seconds. I'm sorry, 23 cents. We got 38 seconds to the news. That's what I'm trying to speed up, and then we'll go back to for Coinbase. But yeah, this one's probably the move right there. Meanwhile, let me look at the options chain for them, and we'll go back to NQ over here and see how this fares on our 5 minute. Look like they're gonna get that top side. Yeah. Ooh, January. I see you, January. That's if this order block holds, though. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, we're waiting for the 5 minute to close above that level, so do not panic. This was all driven by news too, so this could really reverse on you. So we're not one to just jump in because we see a really good candle that we like. That's not the game. You see, we're already pulling it back. It could be that they're coming back to the order block that I was pointing out here, just to kind of reload their shorts. That is a possibility too. But that said, looking at this 5 minute, I just need this thing to close above it, and we'll see how that goes. But this Keurig Dr. Pepper, I don't like to do it on this show. You know what? Follow me on Instagram, JD_the_great, and I will tell you what I think about Keurig. Because the option chain is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Oh yeah, this is for what it is. I like the option chain. Not a lot of volume, but these OIs are great. Anticipating a 2 to 250. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, JD_the_great. Oh, and also if you don't have a funded account and you're looking for a broker that you like, my elite link is down below. You could go ahead and sign up. They have 85% off. Accounts as low as 20 bucks, And if you are not a at least seasoned trader, I'm not. That's not for the beginners. You still need to learn price action. You need to learn how to trade. You know, by all means, paper trade before you even get into the prop firms. I know some that try to use prop firms as a way of paper trade. I do not suggest that. I think you need to learn that with some real paper. And TradingView has a very, really fun and useful paper trade account. Best way, you know, yeah, get yourself profitable. But anyways, here is like the Keurig. Nice little base that's happening here. 15 minutes. Still kind of see that base going from pre-market to here. 45 minutes. Kind of see it again. Here's your 1 hour. If this 1 hour actually starts to take off, let me see what the MACD does. Bullish divergence on the 1 hour right here on top of an order block. So this could be a very, very interesting 1 hour. My real play, I'm thinking, is inside of the 4 hour. You got yourself a little bit of a hitch here, and this is what I was thinking. If this 4 hour candle holds at this position, could get ourselves a nice little boost of cushion. That's what I'm thinking, somewhere around there. All right, let's go over to Coinbase. Coinbase, if you don't know, they are the ones that kind of are driven a little bit by Bitcoin because they actually hold some of those assets, and that's why Bitcoin's effect kind of affects this one in itself. So I would suggest you kind of look at this from a Bitcoin perspective. Bitcoin's starting to recover, it's recovering, and then you got the earnings that's coming out. Tomorrow night. Probably wait for earnings before we do a position on this one. Maybe they want to get back up to, maybe here. They want to get back up into that 240, 250 area, and they built a nice little base. The base started at 162 roughly around September. They got back into here at that 200 level, and then now we're at that 225 battle. If we can hold above 225, that should be a straight beeline up to that upside. Ooh, AMAT. I might have to go back and check my AMAT. All right, let's go to NQ. Let's see what that 5 minute did. Did the 5 minute close above? We got 43 seconds. They are fighting to close that thing above. All right, so that said, I am going to prepare myself. Today's QQQs. They're probably going to beat up my puts now. Yeah, that sucks. Oh well, that happens. $500 calls. Save that. And then I said 486 was crazy, so let's go with 491. Let's save that just in case. That's just in case. All right, so we got a nice little close above. So now we could probably consider ourselves getting ourselves an entry to that upside. Just be cautious of how you get in. Make sure you have your position set. And looking like a push up. Yeah, let's send the order. Let's see what happens. Very volatile. Oh, nice little slap that they just did right there. I'm trying to hold my water because I was up like 20 ticks and they just slapped it. All right, they slapped it down 10 ticks. I'll find another spot. All right, being a little bipolar. We just closed above here. Come on, baby. Be smart. Do not do anything reckless. On the lower time frames, it seems like we kind of were a little exhausted, so that's why I knew it was gonna be a little tough. I'm gonna get in here. They still toying with it. I'm down 11% on the option contract because they're coming deeper inside of what we just rejected off of. Oh, that was really jerkish. It was really jerkish. All right, give me a little bit of a pullback. Find me a spot. That's why those manipulations. Oh, and then you got my area that I was looking for. I was looking for it to get above that 529 area, but I was trying to find a position that would have been good enough for me to get in there and hold. And I still think this bullish move can hold. All right, this is that pullback I was considering. All right, find a spot that you will hold. Stop liquidating the bulls. There we go. Come on. Showing me 20 ticks. Don't tell me you're not gonna hold. Not holding. Hit my stop. Okay. Yeah, this is not looking like they're gonna hold this 5-minute properly. I gave it 2 shots. Might give it a third. Yeah, we're gonna call that a day. Nope. You're bad for business. So this was my fear. This order block in here was going to be a tough area in itself. And now that the 5-minute finish red, yeah, they're gonna push this bad boy down. I'll take my 20% loss and call it a day. They can have that. I'll find another spot. Find something better. So, again, like I said, this is not the perfect of opening range breakouts because I did not want them to go for that. I thought we was going to go to the south side one, not the one up here. And you can see why. Look how choppy it was. Kind of give you a little bit of a sense. It was about $100, 100 tick range that they just kept on dancing. All right, let's go look at the news. Let me see what the news came out as. So Jaws opening was, it's a lot less. It's more bearish for the dollar, which can push it up. But consumer confidence is bullish for the dollar, which was the one I really was concerned about, was consumer confidence. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's go look at the dollar. Looks like it's going to close above on this 5-minute candle. So this might be the real move here. Here's the dollar. Dollar's getting deeper inside of this block. So that could be the one that really pushes us to get to the bottom of that as the market tries to push back up. Go over to the 5-minute. was a little bit of a slap. Like I said, that order block is going to be a tough area. But this thing did look like they were going to hold that move. Got 2 minutes and 29 seconds for this 5 minute to hold, and then we'll probably give it another shot from the option side. Patience, patience, patience. Because right now, even right here, it's showing some flashes that it could really take its reversal right here. But gonna be patient. Minute and 34 seconds. Prove to me that you're gonna stay above 526. Patience, patience, patience. The good thing is we made higher highs on it. The bad thing is it's a megaphone type pattern with a lower low at the wick here. Megaphones tends to be bearish actions. You make it higher highs and lower lows at the same time. It confuses the market a bit. Tells me that newer traders are in on that upside. All right, getting a little bit of a pullback. Does it hold that 526? Does it tempt the bears with a good time? "17 seconds. Look like it's going to hold here. Oh, very weak like. But it still looks like it's going to hold. That is so wrong of them. So wrong. They made this thing come. If we do not recapture this wick, this thing's going to turn bearish really, really fast. Because they put enough pressure to bring it down to this level. But the rules are the rules. You know, we don't play with the numbers. It closed above. It was in a trajectory area that I like to take an entry on at the same time at the close. I just know I'm going to be dealing with a whole lot of bears here, which is what's kind of like annoying me at this point. But I'm going to hold on to these bad boys. And if it does what I think it's going to do, we're probably going to take off something hard all the way up. Even probably take to the top of that range itself, because I got a little downtrend line here, all of that. So something's going to give. All right, this was a rejection point between 546 and 547. Let's see if it holds its weight and gets through there. See what the 1 minute looks like. 1 minute looks like it's trying to be like weak sauce there. At 5 minutes going through its mag. I like this action, but it's just not fun right now because that 15. This is what the 15-minute looks like right now. That's why I think we're getting a lot of this topside chop. back at the top of the range again. Looking for more bulls to load up the boat here. Sorry, let me give y'all the 5 minute. See what I mean? If we don't take out that wick, it's gonna be dangerous. Danger area. Danger, danger. The 1 minute is trying to reset itself, and I feel like this is that reset it in like getting here, but 5 minute Stoke is tied. I just want them to pin it and make it stay stuck above here. That's what I'm kind of banking on. Oh, and then when I reposition, I went, I don't know if y'all deal with wash sales, but I always never keep the same contract when I go with another entry. So I am on the 499s right now. $29. I would love for this thing to hold above the block in this, sorry, 1 minute and 49 seconds. I want to see it hold above the block here, showing that the bears are kind of conceding. Could be an inside bar in this 5 minute and then reverse, but can't control it all. Can't control it all. All right, bears, go take a nap. Hibernate. All right, could this be the one that recaptures that top side wick? We get one more of this massive push that we just stepped in here. A good buy order. It'll get up there. All right, inside bar usually means reversal. Not a great sign. All right, I want to say, because we broke out of here, that there's still some more opportunity here, and I don't want to turn around and just shut it down and then I don't know where this thing takes off, which it can. So I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes. Let's give it another 5 minutes. Let's see what happens with it, and then or if it just blows this low, because I was looking for a higher low here with a higher high, and that this inside bar is just a temptation for bears to come in, and then it's a bull trap. We'll see what happens. And the bull trap is sprung. If it recaptures these two wicks, that means the bull trap is sprung. Yep, there goes one. Oof, they only got one. They only got one of the bull trap. I'm looking at the level of 247.50, 247.75, somewhere around there. That is the top of that wick that I like. We gotta get that next wick. Oh, oh, boom! There she blows. There she. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why you reject it so hard? Could be that order block. That's why we rejected so hard. And new buyers just stepped in right there. Oh, wow! They're trying to tweeze the top this thing. Because if we close above 547.50, that should be the establishment of where the market kind of was thinking that they were going to go on this upside. So, oh, yeah. Yep. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, I'm probably going to hold on to these bad boys in itself. I will not be surprised that we really start to take. I'm at 25%, which cleaned up my last trade. And it is giving me and then some. Let's come to a higher time frame so we can kind of guide where we're going to go. 71, 79, maybe even 618. That's the other levels I'm probably going to be looking at. Seeing where bears existed. Bears existed here, bears existed here, and we got to recapture this area. So that is the other area where bears are existing as well. Like I said, we are in this order block, so this thing can do whatever it wants. I'm just going to be patient a bit because I like what the 5 minute did. It kind of pulled back and starting to really open up the MACD here. So I think I'm going to hold on to it and risk the profits in that case too. Yeah, 5 minute had a death cross and a 50 EMA is starting to come towards it. Yeah, I think I'm going to be more towards that upside. Maybe we get to that 500 level again. Let's see what I can find as a cheapie. Yeah, that volume is kicking up too. There we go. Got a nice solid push on this move. All right, we officially closed above my 25.47 on the 5 minute. I can see continuation happening from here on this 5 minute candle, implementing what could be a fair value gap. So depending on how much action on a pullback for people to get in, right now this is as far as it's going. We're probably gonna, I'll readjust. So here's my point of interest here so far. Let's see how this 5 minute fair value gap holds. Hopefully y'all took this trade. Right now I'm at 71%. If you did not, just be patient. You do not get in because you see a green candle. Hold on, let me come to the camera. You do not get in because you see an enormous green candle. That is not the trade. You're asking for yourself to get liquidated or have a lot of pain on a pullback. That is not your job. That is not your portion. All right, folks, just patience. All right, so we got to the 2600 level. Key level, probably going to be a nice little rejection area in itself. Could bears be sitting right there waiting to kind of slap it back down? Maybe. But if we go back to this 1 hour here, we've recaptured a good chunk of this wick. So if there was any bears here, majority of them took their profits at these areas of lows here. So I'm assuming none of these bears exist, and we're going to recapture that wick. All right, it did pull back to me to about 30%. I'm going to, because I had my stop at 20. Oh, they came beeline right back to my 20% stop. That's why. I was looking for the fair value gap to hold a little stronger than that, and it did not. So there was a lot of bears sitting waiting to short it over there. So they hit my 20%. I was really looking for us to just really hold the momentum and take over this whole entire wick up into this area. I knew 600 could be a tough area, but I didn't think it would be tough enough to slap it all the way back with all these buyers that just stepped in. But again, this is our order block. The bears are just roaming around. All right, that said, took 20% off that trade. Could have been better, yeah, but I was risking the profits to see if I could get like 100, 200, or even let this thing continue and get to that top side of this breakout. It would have really printed. If you did really, really well, congratulations. If you have not liked, subscribe, or hit the bell button, by all means do that right now while you have the opportunity. I will see y'all tomorrow again at 9:15, and we'll do this whole entire dance all over again. All right, so y'all have a great day.